Hey guys, this is the GTM Elephants Trunk 2. It's a harness designed specifically for taking the weight of hedge shears, either short or long pole hedges. It has a very wide waist strap there, and on me I have to double that back. It takes obviously a fairly wide range of sizes. I'm a bit on the skinny side and I tend to have to put it right into there. Clips in, shoulder harness, padding there, quite a lot of adjustability in the height of your shoulder harness there, some nice padding there as well. And hey, I hadn't even seen these ones around here. Okay. So that does up nice and tight to the body. The pole, you can undo this and it'll swing 20 degrees either side, so that when you're going up and down the side of a hedge, you can keep it off to one side a little bit. You've got a tensioner in here, which is not adjustable. It's set at around about 3 kilograms of pull. And that's got a steel cable that runs up and through there and down here. You can adjust this little ball, and I will pull that down a bit so I can get some extra height. That's actually got like a plastic coating on it, and that is on say about 3 kilos of tension. That holds the HLA 85 and the 65 and the short head shears as well really nicely. That's my own carabiner. It comes with a small carabiner with a fairly sharp edge on it, which I don't particularly like, so I've just swapped it for one of mine. But that is looking very good. This is a demo unit from Cromlin's via my local steel distributor, which are E.E. Day and Sons. I didn't know whether they'd have a demo unit or not, so I asked the question, and a day later they got one in from Dandenong for me, which is brilliant. And this was brand new out of the packet. So far, with the little bit of hedging that I've done, I think it's going to become part of my regular kit, I think. They're not cheap. They're about $579 in Australia. But I think this is really going to save my arms and shoulders. But the proof will be after I do a little bit of hedging. So let's go and do some hedging with it. That machine weighs about 6.5 kilos, and it just needs a finger on it to hold the weight. That's just creeping a little bit. So that's it, taking all the weight, adjustable height, and it takes all the strain out of it. That's great. Very promising. Looks a bit weird. I've got this offset over that side, so if I'm doing the side of a hedge, it's a little bit more out of the way and not banging into the hedge. I think it goes 20 degrees either side of straight over there. So yeah, so far, cool. Let's do some more. And that harness is taking all the weight of that machine. I'm just directing traffic. And I can push it back up a bit, adjust my height as I go. stylish or what? Well, after using it around the house for a bit and taking it out on a job, I would have to say, why the hell didn't I have one of these 15 years ago? It's really bloody good. It's taken all the strain off arms and shoulders. With the cordless gear, it's absolutely brilliant. I noticed today while I was using these that if I was using them that way, it helped pull it up. So getting the high stuff, I was having to put no real pressure, just directing it up the top, and I was actually having to pull it down a little bit as I went. So a little bit of downforce needed with these HLA 65s, but up force was fine, and that holds that beautifully. And I could hold that right out, even on top of the ladder, no problems. Couple of things to keep in mind: don't let that go, because it goes zingo right back up there. They probably should have some sort of little shock absorber there instead of the black ball for bozos like me that accidentally let it go. Where that really shines was with the long one. This was absolutely brilliant, because things that were normally a real gut bust to reach, even with this extended out so it's quite long, once you get used to the sort of the force it's putting on your back, this was really good, really easy to use, and I was able to, even off the ladder, reach out and get stuff that, you know, there's still a little bit of effort to hold that, and there's a fair bit of force there on the shoulder, but way easier than trying to gut bust it without using the machine. As far as ladders go, I've got a fairly big industrial platform step ladder with a railing around, and I felt pretty good on that. I did notice when I first went up and down a few times on the ladder and had this connected to that, I didn't like it. Things felt a bit weird, so I tend to go up now with this in my hand as I normally would, disconnected, then get on the platform, get a nice solid position, and then pull it down and connect it up and go from there. There is no way I'd try and do that on a standard domestic 6 or 8 foot ladder. I reckon I'd probably fall off. Sometimes you bang this against the ladder at the back because it sticks out a bit, so be aware of all that stuff. But I'm pretty happy on the platform step ladder using that even up at sort of 6 foot. That was okay. You could probably also use the little ones. These can be quite difficult to, that's just a blank. They can be quite difficult to hold for long periods of time up around there. So that would take all the pain out of that. Particularly if you've got, you know, one of my hedges about 800 metres of shoulder high, and it's just a little bit too wide for me to do all from one side, so I spend hours and hours at that sort of height doing it. Well, that takes all the pain out of it. Look at that. That's awesome. That is awesome. So at the end of the day, I think it's worth every cent of it. $579 to me. It's going to save my neck and shoulders a hell of a lot. I reckon it's great. They've got the tension. I reckon that's about right. It's lovely being able to adjust the height of the machine as you go. I did notice when I connected the petrol machine up, which weighs 7 kilos, that it did just start to pull the wire out. It was just a little bit too heavy, but that's alright. It only needs an extra 2 or 3 fingers underneath to keep it up. It's not like you're holding all the weight. On the cordless machines, perfect. Could I run a whippersnipper? Could I run a whippersnipper with it? I haven't tried this. I think you could. I think that'd work fine. That'd be brilliant. Yep. Why not? I think that'd work. That's a Honda 4-stroke. Holds it. No trouble. No trouble. The only downsides I've noticed today is I kept wanging that into the ladder. Every time you go to move the ladder, you sort of got to tilt the body slightly that way so you don't keep bashing it into things. Watch it when you bend over in front of a window, because it's, you know, if you have the ball set up fairly high so the carabiner sits there, when you're walking around it goes doing, ba-doing, ba-doing, ba-doing. So it's a little clunky, particularly around ladders. It's going to take me probably a few jobs before I learn where that is. Spatial awareness thing, you know, that sort of stuff. Ladder placements too. I was doing today in 2 ladder placements what I'd normally do in 3 or 4 ladder placements. And just making life so much easier. So great, and particularly with the long telescopic pole one too. That was effortless. I like to hang them roughly sort of balanced. I think if you hook them back there, yeah, you've still got to use a fair bit of pressure here to stop it sinking. So I don't think you gain anything. It's not worth it to me if you're going to hook them all the way back there. I think that's a silly idea. So hook them sort of roughly in the centre. And then there's no sort of effort needed. I think that's a much better idea. So yeah, there you have it. There's my impression of the GTM Elephants trunk 2. For me, must have. Wish I'd had it 15 years ago. Oops. Yeah, that bit out.